June 17, 2024. A Philippine Navy boat moves towards Second Thomas Shoal, known to Filipinos as Ayungin Shoal, to deliver food and supplies to soldiers on a rusting old ship called the BRP Sierra Madre. Then the Chinese Coast Guard arrives. 8 Chinese boats surround the Filipino crew. Sailors armed with knives and axes climb aboard. They smash radios, break navigation gear, and steal 7 rifles. 1 young Filipino sailor's thumb is severed. 8 personnel are injured. The country's top military officer, General Romeo Bronner Jr., later calls it hijacking and piracy. This was not war, but it was not peace either. And it was the moment everything changed in Manila. The Philippines could no longer wait for an enemy to land on its beach. The fight was already happening, quietly, daily, deep inside Filipino waters. So Manila reached for a new playbook. The official name is the Comprehensive Archipelagic Defense Concept. The world has given it a simpler name, the Porcupine Strategy. And to understand why it might actually work, you have to look at a war thousands of miles away. When Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, almost no one expected Kyiv to last more than a few weeks. Russia had more soldiers, more tanks, more planes, more money. Then the drones arrived. By 2025, Ukraine was making roughly 4 million drones a year, according to the Atlantic Council. Some cost just $400 to $500 each. Reports from Ukrainian field commanders and Western analysts now say drones cause about 70 to 80% of all battlefield losses on both sides. The math is brutal. A single Russian Panzer S-1 air defense system costs around $20 million. A Ukrainian sea drone carrying a tiny FPV bomb costs a few thousand. In January 2025, Ukrainian sea drones launched FPV drones that destroyed 2 of those Panzer systems on land. Then came Operation Spiderweb on June 1, 2025. Ukraine smuggled 117 small FPV drones into Russia hidden inside cargo trucks. They lifted off, found Russian air bases, and tore into the long-range bomber fleet. Damage, roughly $7 billion. Bombers destroyed or disabled about a third of Russia's long-range fleet. Cost of each drone, a few $100s. Manila watched all of this carefully. The lesson was clear. A smaller country with limited money can still raise the cost of war so high that an attacker has to think twice. You do not need to match an enemy ship for ship. You just need to make every ship feel hunted. That insight became the spine of the Philippines' new defense plan. On January 23, 2024, Philippine Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. announced the Comprehensive Archipelagic Defense Concept. The Armed Forces of the Philippines formally adopted it in March 2024. The name sounds heavy. The idea is simple. Stop fighting at the beach. Start fighting at the edge of the sea. In Teodoro's own words, in plain language, we are developing our capability to protect and secure our entire territory and exclusive economic zone in order to ensure that our people and all the generations of Filipinos to come shall freely reap and enjoy the bounties of the natural resources that are rightfully ours within our domain. That EEZ, the 200 nautical mile zone around the Philippines, is where Filipino fishermen work, where natural gas sits under the seabed at Recto Bank, and where China keeps pushing its 9-dash-line claim over almost 90% of the South China Sea.
we have to deter China from pursuing this course of action. And the only way for us to do it is to strengthen ourselves both individually and collectively against a very aggressive China for whatever motivation.
Teodoro did not soften it. He told reporters the country's waters are being illegally and unilaterally encroached upon by a country using a distorted 9-dash line, which nobody in the world accepts. The plan has 3 big ideas. See the threat early. More radar, more patrol planes, more drones, tighter teamwork between every service. Hit the threat far away. Push the fight outward. Sink hostile ships before they reach Filipino soil. Fight together, not in pieces, land, sea, air, cyber, and space, all working as one team. Renato Cruz de Castro, professor of international studies at De La Salle University, called the shift the most serious move toward external defense the country has made in decades. For too long, he told a Quezon City news forum, Filipino administrations had let internal security swallow their attention while the sea was left undefended. To make CADC real, the Philippines is building what defense writers call a kill web. Picture every Filipino island as a small, hard-to-find missile site. The sea around the country becomes a danger zone for any hostile warship. 4 weapons sit at the heart of this strategy. BrahMos, a fast anti-ship missile bought from India. It travels at almost 3 times the speed of sound, with a range of about 290 kilometers. It is fired from trucks, a battery can hide in jungle 1 hour and fire from a beach the next. The first batch arrived in April 2024. A third and final delivery is on the way. The Philippine Marine Corps now runs a coastal defense regiment built around these missiles. NMESIS, the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps anti-ship system. During Balikatan 2026, U.S. forces moved NMESIS launchers to Itbayat, the tiny Filipino island only about 100 miles from Taiwan. The launchers can be flown in by C-130 cargo planes, set up quickly, fire, and move again before an enemy can target them. Typhon, the U.S. Army's ground-based launcher that fires Tomahawk cruise missiles up to about 1,600 kilometers. Stationed in the Philippines since 2024, Beijing has openly demanded its withdrawal, a sign the system works. HIMARS, the fast mobile rocket launcher made famous in Ukraine. Deployed by the U.S. Army to Filipino soil during Balikatan 2026, with rockets that can hit targets 115 to 310 miles away. Stitch these 4 together, and the picture is clear. The Philippines is no longer trying to match China ship for ship. It does not need to. It just needs to make Filipino waters too dangerous to enter. If missiles are the muscles, drones are the nerves. The Philippines is buying small drones for spotting, scouting, and striking, while building anti-drone defenses, because every army in the last 3 years has needed both. Drones come back the other way too. Filipino Marines and Special Forces are already training with first-person view drones. We saw it in action during the Apurawan beach drill in April 2026, when an FPV drone delivered the final blow to mock enemy boats. A small detail in one exercise that was really a window into the country's entire new way of fighting. And the math is the magic. A country that cannot afford 50 fighter jets can afford 50,000 drones. The same logic that made Ukraine survive is now being copied in the Philippines.
I hope that you will continue to demonstrate exemplary service and nationalism as you have always shown throughout your history. May you pass on these virtues to the next generation of Marines.
Strategy without money is just paper. Manila knows this. In January 2024, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. approved a plan called Ray Horizon 3, the third stage of a long modernization push that started in 2013. The price tag is huge, about $35 billion or 2 trillion pesos spread over 10 years. The aim is submarines, more anti-ship missiles, modern frigates, fast attack boats, 6 new South Korean offshore patrol vessels arriving between 2026 and 2028, and a growing Coast Guard. But there is a hard truth, reported by the Manohar Parrikar Institute for Defense Studies and Analyses. In 2024, the actual amount Manila spent on defense modernization was only about 40 billion pesos, roughly $694 million. To hit $35 billion in 10 years, the country would need to spend more than 5 times that amount every single year. Schools, roads, healthcare, and disaster relief still pull on the same budget. The gap is real. This is exactly why partnerships matter so much. CADC was built around alliances from the start. The United States is the anchor. The two countries marked the 75th anniversary of their mutual defense treaty during Balikatan 2026. Under the 2014 Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, U.S. forces now have access to 9 Filipino bases. American missile systems are deployed and tested across Luzon, Palawan, and the Batanes Islands. Japan is rising fast. In late 2025, Tokyo and Manila brought their reciprocal access agreement into force. In early 2026, they signed an acquisition and cross-servicing agreement. During Balikatan 2026, Japan's self-defense forces fired a live Type 88 anti-ship missile in a foreign drill for the first time. Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and France have all joined Balikatan as active fighters this year. India sells the BrahMos. South Korea builds the patrol ships. The Philippines is not building a wall. It is building a web. Strategists call this approach deterrence by denial. It does not try to beat an enemy in a head-to-head fight. It tries to make any attack so costly that the enemy decides not to start one in the first place. For years, China's playbook in the South China Sea worked exactly because the cost of pushing back was too high for smaller countries. According to the Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative, run by CSIS in Washington, China used force at least 10 times against Philippine resupply missions between 2021 and mid-2024.
Inside the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone, approximately 65 nautical miles.
Water cannons, lasers fired at ship bridges, ramming, and the violent boarding on June 17, 2024. In September 2025, Beijing went further and declared Scarborough Shoal inside the Philippine EEZ, a nature reserve. None of these acts crossed the line into open war. All of them quietly shifted control. CADC is built to break that playbook. If hostile ships now risk a BrahMos missile, gray zone pressure becomes much more dangerous. If small Filipino drone teams can spot every Chinese Coast Guard movement, the deception stops working. If the Philippine Air Force, the US Marines, and Japanese troops all see the same picture in real time, harassment becomes harder to hide. Filipino security analyst Chester Cabalza put it bluntly to reporters in 2024. He said China is now showing their teeth in the West Philippine Sea, and that is exactly the kind of behavior the Philippines must be ready to face. The country is closing the gap between annoying to mess with and very expensive to mess with. That is the entire point. The Porcupine strategy is not finished. It may not be finished for another decade. Funding is tight. Bureaucracy is slow. The Philippines still cannot afford its own air defense systems like THAAD or Patriot. Defense Secretary Teodoro has said this openly. The country still leans on the American missile shield. And China is not standing still. Beijing is now turning a feature called Antelope Reef in the Paracels into what could become its largest artificial island ever. Its Coast Guard is the biggest in the world. Its task forces patrol both sides of the Philippines, west and east. But none of that erases what has already changed. A few years ago, a Filipino sailor lost his thumb on the deck of a small Navy boat because there was nothing standing between him and a much bigger Chinese force. As President Marcos told the Australian Parliament shortly after, "I will not allow any attempt by any foreign power to take even 1 square inch of our sovereign territory." Today, missile launchers sit on the headlands. Joint patrols fly overhead. Allied ships hold the nearby waters. Drones watch from the sky. There is a clear plan written down with money behind it, with allies in the line. The Porcupine grew quills. Deterrence is not won in a day. It is built quietly, piece by piece, island by island, missile battery by missile battery, drone by drone. And that is the reason Beijing is paying very close attention. If you found this analysis valuable, share your perspective in the comments. Your insights help deepen the conversation and sharpen our understanding of evolving regional dynamics. Thank you, and we will see you soon in our next geopolitical discussion.